This is Karen from Crass. Today we have the hilarious Brooke Arnold, who escaped from the Duggar cult, and we talk about bisexuality, dating, butts, dating. Did I say butts? Listen up, you guys.
You are now checked in to Stand Up New York Labs. Oh, yeah.
You're listening to Crass to Mouth.
The two open micers, please cede to the headliners of this table. Good Lord.
I'm thrilled that I'm not living in a society where I'd be burned at the stake.
Ever just fucked somebody who wasn't your girlfriend while you were still with a girlfriend? Boom, HPV right up the pussy. Hey, you guys. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. So I'm back again with my friend Brooke Arnold. Brooke, you might have recognized from Race Wars, and she has written articles for Salon. She's been on TV. Brooke was almost a Duggar. Am I fucking this up already?
A little bit, just slightly though.
Oh, okay, where am I wrong?
So I did not know those people personally, thank God. But I grew up like in the same like religious organization.
And that's called what?
Advanced Training Institute.
Okay. So that's the thing that guy, that's like centered around a guy. Is that true? Like he's the one that's like curly hair is the prettiest hair.
Yes, that's the guy. Because
he says that.
That's the guy.
What's his name?
Bill Gothard.
Bill Gothard. So is that like a cult? Is that a religion or is that like a straight up cult?
I think straight up cult. I would go with straight up cult.
And you're born into it?
I wasn't. No, we joined when I was like 7. My parents like became like Christians when I was 7, and then like it was kind of like a slow descent into madness after that.
Shit. What were you before though?
Nothing. That's the crazy thing. Like my parents literally came home one day and they were like, guess what? We're going to church on Sunday. We believe in Jesus. And I'm like, who the fuck is Jesus? Like, who's this guy?
Like,
Am I allowed to say the F word?
Yeah. This Crass mouth, girl. Say whatever you want.
All right. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, here's my question is, what do you know? Like, obviously you were a child, but what was going on in your parents' life that made them like need that? Do you know what I mean? Like, and did someone approach them? How did that work?
That's such a great question. You know, like, I don't know 100% because, you know, I was so young that I was young
right.
and like, it was like a weird age for it to happen because it was like young enough that like you can still kind of like don't understand, but like old enough that you're still kind of like, what the fuck, you know? So
and you
like
totally remember what it was like before, right? Because 7, you have memories.
7, yeah, definitely, you know, and like I had gone to school, you know, like public school and everything. And so my parents like became Christians and then they were like, hey, guess what? You're not going to school anymore. And, you know, we like went through my room and actually like threw away like a bunch of my toys. You know, my mom was like, this is evil, this is evil, this is evil. And I was like, but I've slept with that every night for my whole life. It was so strange. It was like everything kind of just like changed instantly.
Like overnight.
It kind of felt like, it felt like that. It felt like it was like a normal day. And then the next day we were like, we're going to church. School is evil. You know, like you go from being told like work hard in school and make good grades to being like, that's evil. You can't go anymore. And then, like, all your toys are evil and, like, you can't watch TV anymore and, like, you can't really, like, hang out with people that aren't members of the church. It was just very strange. It was kind of like this you know, like, it's like it switched to, like, a radio station that plays, like, all Christmas, you know, like, a radio station starts playing, like, all Christmas music in December. It was like that, except it was, like, all Jesus all the time.
That's so, like, as a kid, like, now as an adult, there's almost something empathetic about your parents, like, needing a thing. Like, you're an adult now, right? So you can probably see them as people at this point. But as a kid, that would make no kind of sense.
Right, yeah. And I think, you know, like, I have empathy for, like, the decision. Like, it screwed over my life, like, completely. And that's been difficult. But, like, I have empathy for, like, wanting something outside of yourself. I mean, like, as an artist or a performer or a writer, like you want something outside of yourself. You know, you
everybody's attention all the time.
you want to create things and like put it out there and kind of like get, you know, some kind of reassurance from that or some kind of validation from that. So I get that, like, I get the impulse. I'm just like, ew, could it have been like channeled into like something better?
Maybe into a thing that your kids don't have to do. That's what's so crazy is like adults will wake up and be like, I need something, and my kids have to do it too.
Yeah. I mean, and like kids, it's funny, like the US, like we have like so many conversations about like rights and people's you know, like freedom and people's ability to like choose for themselves. But like kids you have no ability to choose for yourself,
Right.
at all.
Right.
And like, to me, like a 13-year-old kid should be able to choose to go to school if they want to, but they actually don't have that legal right in the United States. It's only parents have that.
Do you resent them?
My parents? Oh, God, what a question. I do. I wish I didn't, but I do. Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
But is this but like now, this is kind of part of your identity and what you do, right? So but it's true. You, I'm not saying you're that, right? Because but we're all products of the shit that was done to us. So, like some of us talk, well, whatever. I'm not going to, it's getting shit talky, but is this a thing where you're like, I wouldn't change it for the world because all those hardships made me who I am today? Or are you like, fuck that shit, I wish I'd gone to school?
I say, fuck that shit, I wish I'd gone to school. I think, like, somebody said to me one time, she was like, well, if you're, think about how great you are, like, if, you did well, and I was like, but think how much better I could be.
My parents fucked me.
Yeah, it's like if I'm a 9 now, like I could be a 19, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true, but isn't that a testament to how good you are? Because that shit, like lack of education, or they pulled you out of school and all that crazy Jesus shit, couldn't make you stay in that thing. Like they couldn't repress you with all that.
It's true. I think that, in the more, it's a funny thing because I lied about it for so many years.
What do you mean, like once you got out?
Yeah, like to people, like friends and people that I would meet.
What would you say about your background?
I'd just be like, it's totally normal. They'd be like, did you go to that high school? And I'm like, yeah, of course I did. I just lied because I was so ashamed of it, you know? And then I figured out that like staying in the fundamentalist closet has like a 2-drink minimum. Because like if I had more than 2 drinks, then I'd be like, oh, what's all to like anybody that would listen. And, I never intended it to become like a part of my public persona.
Yeah.
But then I wrote that article, it just came from a place of frustration with the situation.
It started with that article?
That's where it like kind of blew up into like a public thing. Yeah. And I hadn't, it wasn't something I really talked about in my stand-up. It wasn't something, I had been writing a book about it, but it wasn't something I was really like out about or known for in this way. And then suddenly I am. And that's been really weird too, because it's like, wait, suddenly I'm known for something that like I was ashamed of and kept hidden for a really long time.
But isn't that the most interesting thing about people is all the stuff that they're deeply ashamed of?
I think so, yeah. I think I'm grateful that I did it because I know that a lot of people have like read the stuff I've written or come and seen my solo show. I do a solo show called Growing Up Fundy. That's like a storytelling / stand-up show that tells the story of like my life.
You do it now? Where are you doing it?
Yeah. Well, I did it I had my debut show at QED a couple of months ago, and I'm going to restage it again probably in February.
You know that a religion's evil when it gives rise to a one-woman show, right?
Or maybe it's just that one-woman shows are evil. Maybe just one-woman shows.
Your parents were correct.
Right. Yeah. I get it. Like one-woman show is like the most self-indulgent thing that's ever like existed on the history of the earth, but at the same time it's kind of like I don't know, If
someone can have a one-woman show, you can have a one-woman show. You paid your freaking dues.
Thank you, Karen. If anybody gets to be narcissistic, it's fucking me. It's fucking me.
According to me.
Yeah, according to me, you should come and see my solo show.
I will come and see your solo show,
I
actually.
hope you do. That would be really, I think it's great. I think it's not like...
And then I'll come and decide if it's great.
You'll probably hate it. You'll probably hate it.
Yay.
Yeah, there's no nudity.
What? This is a titsless show?
This is a titsless show.
How do you function?
I have not gotten over the fundamentalist part of showing my body.
No tits.
No tits.
Well, good for you. You don't need to be as
legs.
mediocre as everybody else.
No arms.
Do you make money?
Make money with what?
From the show?
Yeah.
Good for you. No arms? Are you like a Sneas person? Sneas is like modest and Orthodox Jewy. Jewy. In Jew.
That's funny. I actually it's just something I've never gotten used to because I had to wear like the long sleeve dress, like the ankle length dresses and like the wrist length sleeves like growing up. I still I can wear them, but I get so uncomfortable. Like still,
what about
I'm
the
just
summer though? What about in the summer?
I can't. Like I will burn up in a cardigan in the summer rather than like show my arms. And not just because they're like sausage arms, but just because I'm like, it's immodest.
So how much of that do you actually hang on to in your day to day? Like, because I know you're like a boundary crosser. You're not like timid in your life. I know you a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, do you have lines like, except for the clothes thing, that you won't cross? Or is that like the one thing? Like, what about anal? Or just to throw it out there.
You just went straight for anal. I've tried anal. Not a fan
All right.
personally.
Yeah, I do know.
I feel like that's like 10th anniversary. Here you go. That's
10th anniversary.
That's for you.
That's later than 10th. But 10th anniversary, you think it's far, but it's not. I'm 8 years deep, so that's like 2-year countdown to anal. I'm not doing it.
Kurt's gonna get the brown donut.
Kurt's like, when's it gonna get brown in here?
I know, right? There's always that point in every relationship. It's like inevitable. You always come to the point in the relationship where they're like, when are we going to do anal? And it's like, no.
Does it though? Because I've only had one relationship and it never got to that point. It was like, when will your vagina be cool? Like, it's never the thought, like the anal discussion has not happened. Like, I would laugh him out of the apartment if you think
if
that's
he
happening.
Like tried to do it.
If he's even suggested it, what do you like? Does he not know me?
I don't know.
The world's tiniest, most uptight person. I like, Can
we just like shove coal up your ass and make some diamonds?
and make jewels?
Make some jewels.
The price of diamonds is going to depreciate once I start churning them out.
I don't need this solo show. I've got Karen's asshole.
It's like the 4th time someone said that to me today.
Really?
No.
Oh, damn it. That makes me unique, though.
I wish my asshole were taking one-woman shows out of the world, but I'm going to see your show. I'm sorry I haven't seen it yet.
I've only done it once, so like it's not like.
What were the reviews? Good.
Yeah, I think so. It was kind of it was kind of a practice show, not a practice show. Like I sold tickets, I had put it on, but I wanted to just kind of do it once and kind of figure out like what works, what doesn't work, what can be changed, what can be improved, and I definitely. Figured out some things that need to get better about it. But I want to kind of stage it like for a little bit longer period of time, like maybe go for like a week run or something like that.
It took you your whole life to write it, basically. So it should be more than a week run, right?
Right. That'd be amazing. It just runs for the rest of my life. Yeah. It's like the longest running show on Broadway.
You're owed.
Brooke's one-woman show that she no longer stars in.
Brooke is none of the women.
We are now bringing Justin Guarini to star as Brooke Arnold on Broadway.
I want it, all right, I'm not going to a one-woman show. But here's the thing.
You're just anti one-woman show.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm like, when I get on stage, I am one woman, and that's a lot of women to be for me. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I have to carry this weight of being me. So I can't imagine being all the women of a whole production. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Well, I think the way that my show is structured is that it's like a storytelling / stand-up show. So it's less like acted out scenes, so it is an extended storytelling set.
That's what you need. That's what it needs is jokes. That's what other things are missing.
It has a lot of stand-up in it. Like, it's a funny show. It's I think it's a really fucking funny show.
We'll promote it.
And
we'll
people,
on Crass
awesome. Like, people really seem to enjoy it. It also has like serious moments, of course, because like it's a serious topic. You can't just be like, my life got ruined. Yeah.
Well, do you consider your life ruined?
Not at all. No.
Because you turned out great. You have like college degrees, and this is like your 3rd career or something.
This is my 3rd career. You're making me sound old now. My 4th career is gonna be my 4th career is gonna be anal. That's my 4th career. It's my 4th career.
I'm like, that's funny, but I'm taking it seriously also. I'm like, I need a job.
You need a job? You don't have a job?
No. This is old hat around here, but I quit my job that I had.
What were you doing?
I was teaching English to like foreign adults, and honestly, it's like, I imagine that the culture difference between me and them, not everybody, but it's like from certain places, like certain Asian countries, certain Arab countries, it's such a shock to even be around people who are not that. Well, okay, here's a question for you, Brooke. Mm-hmm. When you left, okay, what was, because, okay, if you're not in a religious thing and nobody's stopping you, you have an infrastructure to fall back on, right? You have like people who can help you book trips and help you translate things and visas. But for you, what was can you just like logistically tell me what that was like? You just like woke up one day with the clothes on your back and left the house? What did you do?
Yeah, it was kind of like My grandma had put aside this like savings bond for me when I was born. So it was like worth like $3,000. It was like a lot of money. But I cashed it in and I used it to buy a car. And I like...
Did you drive?
Yeah, I had a driver's license. My grandma paid for me to go to driver's ed when I was 16. Huh. Thanks, Nana, by the way. Nana is not going to listen to Crass to Mouth, but thanks, Nana.
Is she still around?
She is. She is chugging along, man. She's 95.
You talk to her still?
I do. Yeah, I talked to her like yesterday or the day before.
She's not in a religious... She's not in a religion.
No, she's not religious.
Just your parents.
Just my parents, yeah. It's my dad's mom. And I actually think that was a big part of like why I kind of turned out a little bit normal was I had this, my grandmother was there and she didn't ever say anything to them because she knew if she did that they wouldn't let her see us anymore. But she kind of like when we'd be at her house, she'd be like, hey, let's watch a movie, you know?
Interesting.
Or something like that.
'Cause I read somewhere that like the burden of sexuality falls on the women, right? So, which is like true of a lot of religions, which is why you have to cover up. So if a man wants you, it's because you caused him to do that, not his responsibility.
Oh, absolutely.
And so then the boys can't have to be really limited in their access to resources, but the girls less so.
Right.
So that, which is like so curious to me, you know, because when shit changes like a lot for an individual, for a group of people, a lot of the times it's because of the women, you know, because the women are the ones who have to like wake up and be educated and control their bodies and their minds and all that.
Right.
So it's like, so did you have a million siblings?
No, I just have one.
So they never did the quiverful thing? They never why
like
though? Is that like a central thing?
Yeah, everybody in our church was quiverful. So like everybody had like 10, 9, 8, 7 kids.
But not your parents?
But not my parents. I think because we joined so late because I was like already, you know, like pretty oldish. And they would kind of like talk about like, we're not going to use birth control anymore. And I would kind of like hear like whispers about it. But
like, we're also not fucking, so it's okay.
But I don't know. We didn't have any more, so something wasn't going. Either they weren't following it or they were like not having sex. I'm not sure which one, you know.
Wow, that's so fascinating. Did they get any shit from the congregation?
They didn't get shit, but like you definitely were like, it was definitely like a status symbol, like how many children you had. So like the people with the most children were considered like the most holy in the church. Like the people with like the largest family was like 10 kids.
Okay.
And like they were like considered like the most holy, vaulted, worshipped family. They were the best family.
So crazy. Like the Duggars have set the bar so in such a crazy place with all their kids. That
19.
Hearing that someone has 10 kids sounds reasonable to me now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, only 10? That's it. You're doing the Lord's work.
Right. They like lived in a house that's like smaller than this room though.
The room's small if you're just listening to this. It's no windows and we're in a closet.
It's a lot of freaking people and a lot of clothes like packed into a really small space. But my parents were very insistent about like me not using birth control. So I always felt there was like some...
But fucking a lot.
Yeah. They were like...
Don't not fuck, Brooke.
Yeah, they wanted like, Brooke, we want you to fuck a lot and have a lot of kids. So like they were like, when you get married and they were going to like... you know, like marry me off to some guy when I was like 18 or 19. And I would have had like however many. I have learned in later years that I am very fertile.
Are you?
I'm very fertile. So I would have had a lot of freaking kids. I'd be on like 14 now. One of my friends had 4 kids in her first 6 years of marriage. 4 children.
Holy shit!
Like she married this guy she barely knew.
How old was she?
Like 21, 22, like very young.
Yeah.
And she married this guy, and then in the first 6 years they had 4 children, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, you poor girl.
I know.
You ever talk to her about it? Where you're like, how is your pussy?
Strangely enough, we didn't have those kinds of conversations. I was like, how's that meat sandwich doing for you? Yeah, it's like the vagina is not a clown car.
Holy shit! 4 kids in 6 years.
I thought it was pretty crazy.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people coming out of there. So I was like, I don't want to do this. You know, I don't want to.
Were you an only child?
No, I have an older brother.
Is he in it?
No.
He's not in it.
He's not. He married a girl from our church.
Okay. Did he knock her up?
No.
Really?
He did not actually.
Are you guys the worst quiverfuls of all time?
We are. We're the suckiest. Well, the funny thing about any religion, I think anyway, is that like Okay, you remember how when Osama bin Laden got captured, they found all that porn?
Yeah.
Right? The thing about every religious person is no matter how much they might be like, I'm the most pious.
Yeah.
And how much they might fuck up their children trying to be the most pious is all of them are hypocrites. Every single one of them. You know, it's like there were people in our church that would like wear shorts when nobody else was around and like sneak off and go like watch movies like Jurassic Park and something like that.
Like kids, you mean, who did that?
Oh no, like families, like whole families.
So interesting.
Like there was this family we were really close to, and they were nice people or whatever, but they secretly used birth control.
Okay.
They secretly wore like shorts and t-shirts and stuff when they weren't at church.
So
and
they were
would go,
definitely going to hell.
Yeah, and then they would like go to movies and stuff too, and then I would just be like, why are they bothering? I didn't get it. Like,
Why are they bothering with what?
like, why are they like going to the church and pretending like they're doing everything when they're like away from it, they're like doing whatever.
And why? Well, why do you think that is? Like, what do people get out of it then?
I don't know.
If they're not going to do it,
Maybe a sense of belonging,
yeah,
or a sense of
but
superiority.
It's so hard line.
Yeah,
It's so strict and like with the every aspect of your life, including your thoughts, right? Like it has. I don't even know the religion, and it has to be that to keep such a tight lid on things.
yeah, no, absolutely. But you know, it's just interesting. Like there is definitely kind of like a spectrum. Like there was like the family with like the 10 kids and the whose daughter, like the sons like swam in blue jeans, you know, and then there were like our family, you know, who was like kind of went back and we fluctuated a lot. So like we'd be strict for a couple of months and then like kind of things would kind of like slowly loosen, and then my mom would like freak out and be like, we gotta go back. Let's, you know, like. So, you know, and then there was the people that were just like pretending on Sunday and then the rest of the week they were just doing whatever they wanted. It was pretty weird.
You know, out of all the things you just said, the swimming in blue jeans creeps me out the most.
Really?
It sounds so uncomfortable. Like that physical discomfort of being in blue jeans and swimming sounds like such a sacrifice for God.
They would like swim like they're like button up down shirts on
Holy
and
shit.
like blue jeans, just like
Swimming?
jump in the water. Swimming, yeah.
All right. Well, look, fair enough. More power to like if you get a thing out of it, I say okay. But the problem is when you make kids do it and they don't have a choice, and that's fucked up.
It is. It
to
is
make a
fucked
kid
up.
swim in jeans is like a thing you should have your kid taken away for.
I didn't, to clarify, I didn't actually witness this because there was no co-ed swimming. My brother told me about this.
That's right. Was he like, holy shit, these kids in their jeans?
Yeah. Because he was, I think, like wearing like, he was like a tank top and like long swim shorts.
Like a whore. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, he was a total whore.
What?
He is now, but sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
you
I'm just
go.
so full of questions because what's interesting is like I had forgotten. You told me this, but I forgot that you weren't born into it. That you were like a little bit of older of a kid when you went into it.
Yeah.
So that's super interesting. Like you didn't have to wait for information to seep in. You had memories, and then you just had to like bridge the gap, kind of,
Right.
and be older.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy to me. Did you have like internet access? I know we were all like pre-internet, but like when the time came,
So I guess we had like AOL, and I was like a late teenager. I actually learned a lot of. So like I never really learned much about, like my parents never really talked to me about sex at all. So I had kind of like, I spent years kind of like piecing together like little bits and pieces. So I would hear something and I would think, wait, what is that? You know, I remember like reading, being at my grandmother's house, and she had this National Enquirer issue, and it had this article. It's like Kenny Rogers phone sex scandal, and I remember just staring at that and thinking, what is phone sex?
did you assume he just fucked someone with a phone?
I did actually,
because
yes.
that's what you would think.
Yes, I did not think, like, I didn't know what masturbation was, so like the idea that like people would just like talk each other through that was just. That would have never crossed my mind in a million years.
It makes less sense that people would talk each other through sex rather than just fuck a phone that's right in front of you.
So I was like, apparently Kenny Rogers likes to like have sex with phones, and I didn't really like know that much about it. So I just kind of like didn't even imagine like penetration with the phone. I just imagined like Kenny Rogers humping a phone.
The world is
somewhere.
such a godless place.
So I was just like these little like pieces of like weird misinformation. But then when we got the internet,
Right.
I never saw porn, but what I did do was I started reading X-Files fan fiction.
I remember when I was reading,
so
like, not fan fiction, but, like, just, like, literotica, like, stories.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I took it literally, that's stuff that happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, more explicit sometimes than seeing porn. Like, especially if you're a kid with an imagination, you're oh my God, you people are filthy.
Yeah. And I remember, like, reading this one story, and, like, Mulder started performing cunnilingus on Scully.
Right, of course
and I didn't even know what, like, oral sex was at all. Like, I didn't even know, like, the idea that, like, any genitals would go near any mouths was just completely nothing that ever occurred to me.
Why would you think of that? It's like 1 + 1 is 3. That's not a conclusion you'd come to.
Right? And so, like, I was like, he stuck his tongue, and I was like, wait, what?
You can do that with those?
I kept rereading it, and then I just decided that is the most disgusting thing I have ever imagined, and I will never do that.
Oh, you were like, I will never go back to that.
Yeah, I was like, I will never, like, let anyone do that to me ever.
And how soon was it till you're getting your box eaten?
Getting my box eaten? Well, or at all?
At all. Let's start with at all.
At all? I like quite a while. I guess I was in my 20s.
And then how long till you had satisfying sex?
Really a long time.
Doesn't that just take fucking forever?
Really a long time. My current boyfriend is the first person that I've had, like, really satisfying sex with. And I remember, like, the first night we hooked up, like, sexually, we'd been friends for a long time, but, like, the first time we hooked up sexually, he was like, I'm going to go down on you. And I was like, no, I don't like that. And he was like, just watch.
Yeah, you do.
And I said to him, I didn't say this to him. I just let him go. But I thought in my brain, I said, this piece of shit. He's like every other fucking man. He thinks he's the one that can make me. Oh my God. I was just like, wait, I do like this. I do like this. And there is one person in the world that listens to everything I do. And that's his father. So sorry, Mr. Rachmani.
I'm so glad you agreed to be on this, knowing with 100% certainty that your boyfriend's dad was going to hear it.
My boyfriend's dad he's listened to the race war thing like 3 times.
Really?
Like, he listens to every podcast I do.
Can we shout him out right now?
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Jay Rachmani.
Hey, Jay Rachmani. If you're listening.
He is. Like, I feel like my boyfriend...
Your son is a hero.
Your son is a boss. Oh my God. He's not... He's Israeli, like you.
I was going to ask, what is that?
Yeah, Rachmani.
Rachmani.
Well, so you can say it better than I can.
Well, I mean, it's because I'm Israeli.
Yeah.
But what Israeli is interesting because it's like a religion you don't have to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's so cultural. Like, so I'm guessing he's Jewish, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But he probably doesn't do it.
No, he doesn't.
But he probably identifies as it, right? Or am I wrong?
I think he does. He definitely, like, reads novels in Hebrew, and, like, he doesn't, like, really do, like, the like any of the stuff, but he's definitely
but
like,
you
yeah, I'm a
don't
Jew.
have to, honestly. You don't
Yeah.
like, Jew's not a thing that you have to do everything.
That's nice.
Well, okay, but but we've spoken before
Okay.
about you also liking girls, right?
Yes.
And so is that a thing that ever came up when you were younger and made you feel like maybe this, like, getting married young and having a million kids with this man is not for me because I don't like that idea?
Yeah. I mean, I think I had my first kind of, like, I remember, like, being at my grandma's house, and she had, like, the People's 50 Most Beautiful. Mm-hmm. You know that? You know what I'm talking about?
do.
And just staring the crap out of all the women in it and just being like, she's so beautiful. And I don't really think it, like, really clicked, like, you're attracted to women. It was just kind of like, you know, I don't know, like, kind of idolizing, like, beautiful women and, like, wanting to be beautiful or whatnot. But it was more just, like, wanting, like, enjoying the experience of looking at them, you know?
Well, that's how that starts, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think I kind of started to realize it when I was a teenager. I started to realize that I definitely was attracted to women. But that, like, the concept of homosexuality to me was so... First off, like, lesbianism was pretty much, like, unheard of. Like, I kind of knew a little bit about, like, guy on guy because, like, that's in the Bible, right?
Right.
But the Bible's never like, ladies, don't stare at other ladies. You know, they're not worried about that. They're like, that's not a problem.
Is that interesting, though? Why isn't it a problem? Like, can girls just get with girls on the DL and it's not that big a deal? Or is it still, like, absolutely forbidden?
I don't think it ever explicitly says in the Bible, like, no lady on lady love.
Right.
I can't say that for 100% sure, but I think it doesn't.
So so, oh my God, it's just like, it's so crazy that you left it. That's what like always blows my mind. Like,
Yeah.
you just picked up and left. So wait, so you just like woke up, you didn't say goodbye to anybody, you just took off in your car?
I just like, no, I told my parents, like, I'm leaving. I'm going off to do, I'm just leaving. I'm going to, go somewhere else now. And they were like, they're going through a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with me. And so they just kind of were, they didn't really protest very much. They're just kind of like, okay, bye. And so we just kind of like parted ways, and we didn't really talk for like a long time. It's really, really awkward, but I just had to like go have my own life,
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah.
But what about the people that stayed behind? Like, not just your sibling, but like, are you in touch with anybody, or do you ever like think of girls that you knew back then and like what happened to them?
I'm like Facebook friends with maybe like 2 or 3 of them.
And they're in it? Like, they've got the kids and everything?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have kind of like, it's kind of died off. So a lot of them have kind of like, they're all like what we would consider still like super crazy Christians, and they've got like maybe 5 kids, but maybe they plan them out a little bit. I don't know. They've got big families though. They've got like a bunch of kids, and they've got their little husbands, and like they don't work, like all the things that we were told to do, you know? So like one of them like might teach piano from her house, and the other might have like a little daycare, but they don't have jobs, they don't have educations, they have got like all the kids. And I'm friends with them, and I guess I just kind of, God, I feel like the lucky one in a lot of ways. Like I feel like, oh crap, I'm not happy that happened to me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's not still happening to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Did anybody like touch you funny ever?
No.
That's good.
I was one of the lucky ones in that way also. Yeah.
Wow, you dodged such a bullet.
I
and then
know.
a one-woman show was born.
Sometimes being chubby is awesome. Sometimes being a chubs is the best thing that could ever happen to
What
you.
about your brother? Like, did he have a different experience than you? Did anybody do wiener things to him, or was that like smooth sailing?
My brother, did anyone do wiener thing? I don't know. I think no. I'm gonna err on the side of no.
Okay.
But my brother is the kind of person that if it did, he would never mention it ever.
Yeah.
But it's also the kind of thing where like, like I said, like you're not really aware of people being gay, but then like I'll be walking down the street like, and someone that I knew from my church will pop in my brain, and I'll be like, oh my God, he was gay. And
Right.
it's like you realize it.
Do those people leave though? Those people get out
A lot of them just stay.
and marry heterosexual partners.
Marry women and then have like tons of children with them, and then I don't know what they do in their spare time. I guess.
Is there a DL gay scene in ATI? Or like you're like, I wouldn't know.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, but you were like a child basically the whole time.
Yeah, I was a child. There has to be though. Isn't there a DL gay scene in like
Every culture.
every community?
Yeah, or people just get fucked against their will, I guess.
Right. Well, then,
It's not like it's not a good thing.
If it's an either or, then the fucked against the will is definitely like I know the creepy thing.
Yes to one, maybe to the
The
other.
creepy thing is like, do you know like how many child molesters I knew growing up? It's so like people.
How many?
Just like so many. It's really scary.
Oh my God.
Like I can't even like it's at least like close to 10.
How did you know?
Like either people told me, like girls told me, like my dad did this to me or my brother did this to me, or they would get arrested. Like three guys that I grew up with that were like my age, prison for child molesting.
Like Duggar style? Like that Duggar kid, what he did to his
Yeah,
sisters?
but like they were like, like a nursery or their stepdaughter or there was one guy who was arrested.
Nursery, no.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
There was like one guy that was arrested just a couple months ago because he had dirty pictures of his granddaughter on his phone, and like he had like a daughter like that was like my age, so this is like her kid,
Right.
Just, like, these people are just fucked up. It's crazy.
Holy fuck. I mean, it's like, but then you kind of don't know because, like, I don't know anybody from it and I'm not in it. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. And it's like, but how many people that you grew up with are now in prison for child molestation?
I mean, I haven't kept up with all of them or gone to the reunions, but I'm thinking like maybe downwards of 0. Like
Okay. You don't know of any,
I don't know of any. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that would get spread around. Like, the town doesn't even have to be that small for you to hear about that. You know what I mean?
And then like when the Duggars did their little like apology tour, like they actually said in the interview they were like, oh, well, we talked to some of our friends who also had something like this happen in their family. And I'm just like, how many people? This is great. Like, how many people? Like, we talked to all of our friends whose children have molested their other children. Like, that's not normal.
If you've heard of them, though, so if we heard of them and they know of the others, then there must be so much of this shit going on that you never hear about because it's trickled all the way down to us in the public.
Right.
So, do you guys have a word for people who are not in the religion?
Muggles.
Really?
No. We do actually.
You just made my night and then took it all away.
We do. It's actually called Jews.
Is that true?
No, but like non. Wait, like non. Like
we call them Jews.
this is like non-Christians or heathen. And usually like non-Christians or unbelievers.
I'm sweating. Right. Oh, so like the PC words, like the normal shit.
Unbelievers, non-Christians, heathens, all that stuff.
Did you ever get like fired up, like listening to a sermon and you're like, they're going to hell, we're not? You know, like did you ever have a feeling of like righteous satisfaction from all of it? Or are you always like, fuck this shit, when can I fuck?
I think that's such a great question. I definitely there was definitely a period of years where I really genuinely did believe. I was like,
as a kid though, right?
As a kid, I was like, I'm on board. This is good. I think like the big thing that like kind of kept me from doing that was because my parents were really convinced that my grandparents, the ones I was really close to, were like not Christians and they were going to hell, right? Because they weren't part of our church.
Right.
And that was so hurtful to me. Like that's still like that was so upsetting to me to constantly think about these people who were so kind to me and so loving towards me and had done so much for me that these people were going to hell. And like, so I never had that kind of like gloaty, you'll burn kind of thing because it was just like such a deep sorrow to me that these people that I loved, you know, were supposedly going to hell. And I don't know, I think that's just a really fucked up thing to tell your child. Like, your grandmother's going to hell, you know? And it's
what's crazy is also that your parents were in it and the rest of your family wasn't in it, but you still could have contact with them. Do you know what I mean? So in order to keep that up, they have to, like, on one hand, like, obviously you love your grandparents, but on the other hand, they have to be like, but what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
And then you as a kid have to reconcile that. Yeah. You know, like wanting to trust and believe your parents and then not believing it because the thing in front of your eyes is like, my grandparents aren't evil.
Yeah. Well, we had to kind of like pulled away from like our extended family to a great extent. So like we stopped going to family reunions, Christmas kind of things, you know, like, so we pulled away from them. But we still, like, my brother and I still, like, went to my grandparents, like, lived, like, 15 minutes away from us.
Right.
So we went to their house, like, still a lot. But my grandmother would always get so scared that she was, like, going to get in trouble for, like, letting us do something or see something we weren't supposed to. So, like, I remember, like, when we were watching a movie when I was a kid and, like a sex scene would come on. And then, like, a PG-13, like, you know, like, making out and falling on the bed kind of sex scene, not, like, going at it, you know?
Yeah.
My grandmother, every time, bless her heart, would look at me and say, you know, Brooke, I read in the paper the other day that they're married in real life.
What an angel.
I know. And so she just, like, she thought that, like, that made it okay. Like, if they're really
sweet.
married, then it's totally great.
Oh, my God. That's sweet. That's almost heartbreakingly sweet, isn't it?
It
like,
is.
She really was trying to, like, not, like, 1984 you.
Right.
You know?
I think she just wanted me to go home to my mom and be like, they were rolling around on the bed, Mommy. And then my mom's like, nah.
They were brother and sister.
Because that would have been totally fun.
Really?
No.
The church is like, don't fuck your sisters except if you want.
Yeah, just if you do, just keep it on the DL.
But it's got to be a thing. Like, that's got to be a thing that happens all the time that they have a protocol for addressing. Because if we, like, it just must happen constantly. You're that repressed. You have that many people around you. Normally, that many family members.
Right.
Who are in your custody.
Yeah, like, you're a teenage boy, and you're not allowed to go to school. You're not allowed to watch porn. You're not allowed to masturbate. You know, and you're, like, stuck in the house with, like, little girls. Like, it's... You're creating a situation that's really rife for molestation.
you're
I'm not
creating a
saying like it's
situation-
inevitable, but like you're creating a situation where like
Isn't it inevitable though? Isn't it though? Like, don't the adults have a responsibility? Like, they're responsible for the molestation that happens because it is inevitable.
Oh, I
if
think
you have teenage boys and they have no outlet, or girls, I'm not saying girls don't do it, but I'm guessing it comes more from the boys. Then the adults are responsible not just for not supervising, but for making a thing where they have no outlet whatsoever. They're swimming in jeans, for fuck's sake. Like, they have no outlet. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, but like it creates a situation where that kind of thing just, I think it happens a lot, you know. And I got this really sad email from a girl that I went to church with actually growing up.
Yeah.
That she sent it to me anonymously, but she like knew enough about me and our church that I know that she's like a real person. You know, like she actually did go to church, but she was like, she named the church and a couple of like the family that she was from. And she kind of said, like, do you know if that was happening in my family? Because I feel like I have a lot of repressed memories.
Okay.
And
is that a thing only she can answer?
I just didn't even know what to say. And I was just like, look, I'm
that's
really
sad.
sorry. You should seek counseling because, like, I just can't. That's just not something I can help with.
If she's asking that, it sounds like probably because if you like, it wouldn't even occur to me to ask questions about repressed memories about a thing that couldn't have happened to me. Do you know what I mean? Or that like wasn't an issue growing up.
Yeah.
Like I know nobody touched me funny as a kid.
Right.
Because it
You
wasn't a
just
thing
know.
for me.
Yeah,
I wasn't well, it was all happening. It was rampant. So could I have been affected? Like, that's so. Do people reach out to you from still in ATI who want help leaving, or does that somebody want empathy, or do they tell you you're going to burn in hell, or like, do you get any reaction from people in it?
Yeah, like a combination. I get like letters from girls who like, oh gosh, some of them have had such worse experiences than like I could ever even imagine. Like they'll tell me their story, and I'm just like, oh, that's really horrible, you know. And I kind of almost feel guilty for like even talking about it in public when I'm like, this is the person that needs to be like out there, like saying what's really going on, you know. And so like people will do that, and then some people will, you know, like I have this guy named Winston, and
That's my dog's name.
really,
Yeah, he's a cute baby.
Well, Winston sends me an email. He stopped but for a couple of months he'd send me an email like every other day.
Okay.
He'd be like, hi Miss Brooke, I prayed for you this morning.
Okay.
And like Winston started to believe that God had placed it on his heart that he should convert me back to Christianity,
Okay.
and then we would get married.
Oh, he's just trying to fuck you? That's some game. Okay, good job, Winston. Well played.
Nice work, Winston.
Oh my God. He goes,
So like some of them
my
are,
dick will heal you.
yeah, some of them, yeah, my dick will turn you back to
Isn't it funny how you
Christianity.
don't have to leave a cult to get those emails?
They just gotta take on a different tenor, you know.
That's
so I get-
universal.
I get all kinds of crazy stuff, you know. And like one dude, like I'm sure went to my church because like I IP'd his email was like gross enough that I IP searched it, like and he's like from my hometown, so I'm sure he's somebody I went to
So
church
he
with.
knows who you are. You probably know who he is.
And he was like, "You're a shameless whore. Fuck you." You know, he didn't say "fuck
And
you."
you're like, fair enough.
Yeah, but he was like, "You're a shameless whore," and I was just like, "Dude, simmer down. Just calm down."
But what does he want? Like, okay, you're a shameless whore. Let's say that you get on board and you're like, yep, I'm a shameless whore. Now what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what's the next step for us,
His
Winston?
dick. It's always the next step is always the
Okay,
dick.
come get me.
It's always the dick.
What is your? Oh yeah, we're getting shit faced here. You really left.
I know, right?
Do you have like do you feel like an older sister responsibility towards people who are in it, or are you like, this is their lives, these are their choices? Do you have some kind of like? Do you feel like you have an obligation towards them?
That's a good question. I do, and I don't. You know,
Like, you can't make anyone do anything.
I can't. I you know, I have mixed feelings. It's something I still struggle with. So like, I feel this desire to help people, you know, and kind of like be an example of like you can make your life better, you know, like you can make your own decisions and things can be okay, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like too, it's really like a slippery slope, like getting involved with strangers' problems, especially ones that are like really triggering, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
But
so
not
it's like
everyone
a
is-
double-edged sword.
Right. And not everyone can be okay. Like, not
No.
everyone has the fortitude to do it.
No.
Not everyone wants to hear it. And,
No.
like, not everyone's going to make, like, the hard choices to leave. They're just
No.
not. Like,
Yeah.
Some people just, like, are not like equipped to make themselves okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
when I had a job when I taught at Queens College, I had a student who came and talked to me, and she came from an Orthodox Jewish community. Cheers. And she was talking about wanting to leave and kind of live her own life. And I was just very honest with her. Like, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be so hard. Like,
Well, you heard about the 33-year-old girl who killed herself. She jumped off a building. She had a tech startup, and she'd left her Orthodox family in Brooklyn, and she was so cut off from them. And it was years, but she couldn't take it, I guess. And it got to her, and she jumped off this building. She was well liked, had gotten an education, relatively successful at a young age.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to be it's hard to think that everything that you do is shameful to the people that to your family
that you love. Yeah,
right. And it kind of sucks. So I don't have any friends that I grew up with.
Right. Well, me neither. But that's because I'm a cunt.
That kind of sucks. And it sucks that I feel like my parents aren't proud of me, and that nothing I do will ever make them proud of me.
But what could
unless
you
I
have done? If you'd stayed in and done the thing, more than they did it, got married, had a bunch of kids, was strict about it, would they say, Brooke, we're proud of you?
Probably not.
So it's you couldn't have won that.
No, I guess not. But it's sad, you know.
Of course. Well, you always want your parents on your side, even if they're not the people you would have chosen necessarily.
Right. You know, and that's just and it's weird to feel what you were saying, it takes so much to move away from that and to create your own life, right? And I feel that that's true because I experienced it. It was so hard. But for them, that's not go girl,
right.
you really worked hard. That's amazing. It's not a sign, it's not something admirable. It's something to be ugh.
Do they not talk about you to other people? Are they we don't have a daughter, or are they she should be an example for the rest of you?
I think that's probably the latter. I know that a lot of people it's a really funny thing. So after I published that article, no one in my family said a word to me about it.
Could they have not known? Is that possible?
No, they knew.
No, they knew.
Because it was posted on my Facebook 7,000 times.
And you've gotten a huge response from that, right?
Yeah. And they didn't say a single thing about it. Then my dad, I finally, my dad has mentioned it to me a total of one time.
Okay.
And that was in the context of I said something about getting this email. I said, I got this really nasty hate mail, and I did the IP address, and it's from our hometown. And he said, well, a couple people from our church, called to complain about you when that article came out.
Kill her.
Kill the beast. But then I was that's the first time you've ever brought it up to me. He's never mentioned it before.
Oh, so it's when he gets shit from other people, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
But if you're just living your life, it's all right, let her do what she's gonna do.
I think they just don't want to can't talk about it or don't want to deal with it. I don't know. And I don't do these things to hurt them. I'm doing it because you have to share your experience. It's part of who you are.
Right.
And I'm not doing it to hurt them, but at the same time, it's something that we kind of almost can't talk about in any real way. I don't know.
But isn't that tit for tat? They brought you into a thing without your consent, right? And I'm not shitting on your parents. People do that, and they had their needs and whatever, and you were with them, so that's what happened to you. And then you grew up and you made your choice. That wasn't what they wanted,
right?
So isn't
That's a good point.
can't they be we're even?
I actually have the Joyce Carol Oates says this great quote, and it's just if you wanted people to write nice things about you, then you should have acted better.
Right, but also who needs people to write nice things about them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually keep that. Well, you're a much ballsier person than I am.
I don't think so.
And so I actually keep that quote on my desk, as a reminder. It's okay to, because it's hard juggling those things. You're raised in this environment where women are allowed to talk and women are allowed to have opinions, women aren't allowed to have thoughts or feelings or thought.
Right.
To the nth degree. Then you become a woman in the public eye who's not only having thoughts and feelings and ideas, but about the way that you were raised. It's so hard. That kind of that internal balance for me is really difficult to kind of keep going.
But do you ever wake up and you feel just satisfied with what you did and you're this is what I should be doing, this is how I should be doing it, and my life has led me to this point and I'm happy?
Absolutely. No, I'm very happy with my life. I cannot complain. Sometimes I feel like the luckiest girl in the whole world. Not because everything was great, but because I was able to
turn it around.
Yeah.
I mean, so what would you consider your proudest accomplishment since you left, or whatever? What are you the most proud of?
Honestly, I think it might be, well, it's kind of like a toss-up between two things. One would be starting to do comedy, because I think I think that's hard for everybody. Like, it's a scary thing to do, but like, especially when you're a silenced person, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you're told like, you can't be the center of attention. You can't be, you know, this. And so like, kind of doing that, I think that took a lot of guts, and I'm really proud of that.
Why did you start comedy?
I actually started because I was writing a book about my experience, and it was a funny book because that's how I deal with things, you know?
Right.
And so it was a funny book. And then...
Are you not allowed to make jokes in your religion?
I think we're allowed, but it's not a fun religion. It's not really a ha ha he he. It's more like, and then Jesus' heart exploded.
Oh,
you know?
Okay. And you can get your kicks in private.
Right, exactly. So like, I started writing the book, and then like, I would read it to people and they would laugh, and I just liked the experience of writing things and making people laugh. And so I started getting on stage, and then just fell madly in love with that. Like, I'm a total addict. Like, I'm a stage junkie.
But that's interesting though, because like a lot of people who do comedy are also addicts in other ways,
Right.
like drugs and relationships and sex and stuff like that, because it is a thing that you feel compelled to do, or else you're not going to do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, if I go, like, one day is the maximum day I can go a week without performing, because otherwise I just start to it's a high, you know.
And that's how you know you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because you do it.
Yeah, and it's a high, like, you chase that high, and so it's like every little step that you get farther, like the first time you kill, then the first time you kill.
Oh my, Brooke, what the fuck? You really got out.
Yeah. The first time you kill in front of like 100 people.
I thought you meant kill on stage.
Oh, yeah,
I was
kill
like,
on
the first
stage.
time you murder a man,
Yes.
I'm like, oh shit.
Well,
you guys
know,
go hard.
Actually, the first two are really boring, but the third is when it starts to get really interesting.
Kill on stage.
Kill on stage,
Wow,
sorry.
I am so retarded. The first
Sorry.
time you kill.
The first time you
Please
kill on
run away with it.
stage.
Go ahead.
Like, that's the high, right? And
Right.
then like, it gets harder and harder to get that, because then it's like, then you do like kill in front of 100 people,
Right.
and you're like, oh god, now when am I gonna get the next chance to do this, you know? Or
But then
you,
the
like,
better you get, the more you realize you totally didn't kill that one time. Like, it just felt like it, but you did a shitty job.
Right.
And now, like, when you did like mediocre, it was better than that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that you keep getting better, is if you keep kind of like raising the bar. But it's like, it's kind of like you're chasing a high. I feel like I'm chasing a high. It's like, I want that next, you know, like, really big thing.
So, what's your next really big thing?
I don't know.
You want to get married and have kids or any of that? Or have you soured on it?
I'm soured.
Yeah, you're a sour bitch. You're
I am a sour bitch. Yeah, I'm a sour bitch kid.
you're over it because of that, or because it's just how you are?
I have an IUD, like, that's going to last until I'm no longer fertile. So
Good for you.
I'm good on the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm in a monogamous relationship, but
Right.
I don't have any interest in being like legally married, because like just the concept of being married just like gives me the like
Right. Well, it's
you know,
like,
it's like, oh
the institution of oppression.
yeah,
From your parts.
it just feels like it's it's like, why, you know, like I
Right.
want to like wake up every morning with that person and know that they're here because they want to be, not
Right.
because they feel like they have to be.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's what me and Kurt are. I mean, I'm not saying we're the model of a relationship, but we're not married for this long. It's
Yeah.
like almost 8 years, and it's fine. Exactly how it is, it's fine.
Do y'all have any plans to like ever get engaged or anything
Well, you
like
know
that?
what? Like, okay, so he bought me this ring that I'm wearing right now.
Oh, pretty.
Which is a little big, so I wear it on this finger.
Yeah.
And but that was like, you know, it was such a sweet gesture. It wasn't it wasn't a proposal. It wasn't, you know, because we're not that, like, we're not those people.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it was never gonna be a like diamond in a hot air balloon in Paris kind of thing. Like, we both hate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So what that was we were together for so long, and we're still together, and neither one of us wants to go. So do we want a wedding and all the expense and the stress and the planning? No, fuck no. But there isn't a middle ground of like, we live together, we have a dog together. He's like, have some jewelry. That's so reasonable to me. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
there's not. I don't wear it all the time. Like, it gets uncomfortable. I leave it. Whatever. Somebody doesn't match what I'm wearing. But it's just sweet. It's sweet. He was like, you know what I mean? It's not extravagant. It was just a nice gesture of like, of belonging almost, but like in a friendship way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be so lame and like, we're buddies more than lovers, but like, it's just a thing of like, we don't really see this ending, and so it doesn't need to have a stamp of approval from anybody. But he's like, have a ring, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a kind of like a bond, you know, like it shows like we're together, we're family. We're,
That's exactly it. We're family at this point.
We're ride or die.
Yeah.
Like
he's
we're
my
each
person
other's,
no matter what.
Exactly.
So when things are shitty, there's not a thing of we're breaking up now because it's past that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't need a marriage for that to happen. You just don't. Like, you just need to live in the world's shittiest city and have a hard life together, and you're like, we're in this forever.
Yeah.
But
we got this covered. You guys are a cute couple too, I have to say.
Well, my story is really different than yours, but like we're also super non-traditional and like, have to do an open relationship thing and all that.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like it's like what you said, it feels itchy thinking about like having the rules on you. Do you know what I mean?
Like, and like I just hate I would literally like rather I just sounded like such a cunt just now.
I would literally rather.
No, I'm a cunt.
I would literally rather.
No, I just saying like this is my husband like makes me want to shoot myself in the face.
Isn't that the most like 1,000 years ago word?
And like if
just
anyone
the word,
right? If anyone ever was like, "This is my wife," like I remember like one time we were at the emergency room because I had like a kidney infection.
Yeah,
and my boyfriend was like just trying to like get me seen by the doctor, and he was like. Go take care of my wife. And I was like, wait a second. That's, I come out of my like morphine stupor and I was like, don't use that word. He's like, I'm just trying to get them to see you.
That's sweet though. She was pulling it out as an emergency measure.
It was like, they're like, because the people take those things more seriously.
No, they do. And like legally they have to listen to that too.
And so he was like doing that. And I was just like, wait, don't say that. Please stop.
Would you though, like down the road, like, is that a thing where you're like, I'm making this statement, I'm taking a stand, I'm not getting married, I'm not doing the traditional route, it was shoved down my throat and I'm not doing it? Or are you like, if I felt like it, I would do it and I just don't feel like it?
I really don't want to in any way.
You're anti.
I'm anti-marriage. I don't want to do it. My boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, is anti-marriage, so we're not going to do that ever. We've talked about like getting kind of like unofficially engaged just so we have like some kind of like, don't hit on me. I'm like, this is serious.
Right.
And then also, like, when you get to a certain age, it's like, my boyfriend sounds really lame.
And then, but don't you have a terminology problem like I have? Because, okay, I'm not going to say fiance. I'm not saying that. Because that sounds like impending wedding. So
right. That sounds like you're spending a lot of time on Pinterest.
It sounds like I'm, like, choosing dresses, which is, like, I'd rather kill myself. And, partner is... like, all due respect, sucks, right?
It's businessy.
And boyfriend is like very 13 years old.
Yeah, there's no good word for it. I think I just like my person.
I like that
Or sometimes
too.
I'll say like my fella. This is my fella.
Oh, but you're from Texas, so you can do it.
Oh, maybe so. Mm-hmm. Is there a Jewish word for that?
Oh, man.
Something with a...
You know what it is? In Hebrew, the word is chaver, which is the same word for friend. Oh. But it's like in the context, it means something else. So if you say so a sense would be this is her friend in general, then that's just a friend. If you say this is the friend, like this is the guy, that's the boyfriend. Oh. Which I kind of like. Yeah. I like that it means friend.
I like that too. Yeah. Because I mean,
is that the most annoyingly feminist thing anybody said on this podcast?
No.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like it's not. I didn't find it annoyingly feminist at all.
I don't find you annoyingly feminist. I feel empowered by you.
Thank you.
Well, Brooke, thank you for bringing wine.
You're welcome.
I swear to God, I'm like such a lightweight. I'm already like halfway
Really?
there. Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, I needed it to go crass to mouth.
You needed to cover the crass and the mouth.
Well, I thought it might kill some of the germs.
Look how much she knows without ever having been on this show.
I know a lot about ass to mouth.
Do you?
Well, not.
Is that what they teach you in ATI?
Yes, that's what they teach us. No, one of my best friends in college went ATM, right before we were graduating, and then she got this like terrible infection all over her face.
That's how you know that God is real.
I mean, she seriously looked like the freaking crypt keeper. Like, I was like, what was in his ass? That's what I want to know. Like,
isn't that the thing you don't think about getting tested also?
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't even think about your dirty ass.
I'm like, what was in his ass?
Well, thank you for bringing this to our medical attention.
I'm trying trying to like turn her away, but I laugh too loud. That's my patented cackle.
Oh, don't worry. People are going to email me anyway about how awful our voices are. Don't sweat it.
Are they really?
Probably. I mean, we've got some really supportive people, but like a lot of people are like, you holes should shut your hole.
I have picked up some major creeps since when I was on Race Force. Like,
really?
Like
I'm shocked.
I have like all these dudes that follow me on Twitter. Some of them are super great. Hey guys, some of you are awesome and I love you.
Totally.
Some of them though, like are like always tweeting like just insults at me, and I'm like, why do you follow me if you find me that horrible? You know?
They're like, stop speaking.
No, they're like, you're ugly. Why don't you have an upper lip? You know, that's my favorite.
Great
one.
point, buddy.
That's my favorite one, and I'm like, because I don't know, I was born this way. Where's my upper lip? You know,
Right.
There's like things like that. And,
So,
but,
you know, the thinkers.
right, the
Come out of the woodwork.
smart ones. But I noticed like that all started like after it was all the people I got from Race Wars, and like I said, 75% of them are super awesome,
Right.
And like I've got some great fans, like people who come to shows and like all kinds of stuff. But like 25% of them just do nothing but insult me on the internet.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We got to go, but you should think about how you're going to answer these people who are asking about your lip, because it's a reasonable question and you owe them a response in a measured way. Okay. And don't try not to be disrespectful.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. I know you've talked about this like a million times. So
Crass.
really sweet to come on
Thank
my
you.
crass to mouth.
Crass to no upper lip.
Yeah. You're so like, I mean, honestly, this is going to be like, people are going to hate me for saying this, but like,
Really?
you're the shit. Yeah,
Thank
no, you are. You're like
Thank
stronger
you.
than anybody that I know for leaving
Oh,
that
that's so
bullshit and then
sweet.
doing this.
That's so sweet.
It's like all the scary things you did in your life. So,
Well, I find you incredibly warm and engaging, and I'm so excited. Thank you for having me on. And so,
Thanks,
like, you have
Brooke.
the sweetest face, but like, you just like come out with this like fucking like biting intelligence, and it like terrifies me. Yeah, she's like, keep
I don't know. I'm like, don't stop rolling. Yeah. Thanks,
because you
Brooke.
just like have this like you just like,
Don't
there's
stop.
something that seems like just like sweet and
Like an
innocent.
angel.
You look sweet and innocent, but then like it's like
I can't even think of a better note to end on than that.
That's good.
God, you're genius. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Brooke. All right, we're going to go.
Okay,
Make
thanks.
sure that you guys email us at crasstомouth@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at crasstomouth. Follow me at Karen with an E, Margolis. And make sure you follow Brooke too, Brookie.
Brooke _Arnold, BROOKE. I'm also got that E _Arnold. You can also check me out on my website, brookearnold.com, or on Facebook. Also, you guessed it, Brooke Arnold.
And try to figure out what happened to her lips. This is the meanest.
So mean, so mean.
So mean.
I know. If I get like puffy Kardashian lips, it's your fucking fault.